Good morning. Welcome to the Nicholson Factor. It is, I think, around about 1 o'clock. Just got off work about an hour or two before. I had some pretty fucking legit yarns tonight at work after I finished. It was it was enough to kind of force me to sit down and just kind of release a bit of shit because it was a bit fucking intense, man. Like it was legitly something worth dealing with, man. Like, I think the biggest one we had, it would have to be kind of ego. Like, that was the thoroughly best conversation I've had in about a month. I mean, that was it. It was one that just kind of tested. It was like a game of chess. Like you really just test your strategy and how you're going to approach it, and really kind of ended off with the strategy on what you kind of think and how you go about things. And I kind of ended my night, and I was having a few kind of well, I was having a few diesels, old bourbon and cola. Somehow they kind of got left over from the cricket. And the more that I was thinking about it, the more that I was like, fuck, dude, I really just need to like download a bit of shit right now. Like I, it's not the usual kind of thing that I do, but it was intense, man. Like just having a yarn about ego and what is ego. And by all means, label it, throw in the comments of what you want, man. But it's one of those of what is ego. I mean, seriously, what is ego? It's it's been thrown around a lot. I find it has a really bad kind of undertone. Like every time you say ego, you kind of think badness. You kind of think a little bit of a kind of like an evil side to someone, and sometimes I think it's a little bit ruthless, bro. Like it's not that nice of a thing. And the end point that we hashed out at the end of the conversation is that ego, ego in a sense, is that ego is always there. But then when the point of ego, when it gets taken the wrong way, is that when someone feels that you've called them out on their ego and they don't have the self-confidence or the self-belief to hold it, they get really cut and they get really angry and they get really kind of abusive, and you find a switch in that person. Whereas ego, in a sense of someone who's very stable in themselves, you won't find that. Which is really interesting because you'll find those people that when you sit around them, they'll be really chill. They have like this real kind of chill aura around them. They'll be just real passive, and you'll be able to talk to them really easily. You won't have to try, or you won't have to feel inferior by being around these people. You'll feel enlifted, motivated. You'll feel that you can do more because the point of this is that they're not there to pick on you, to destroy what you're doing. They're so kind of like happy in their own perception of themselves. And well, perception is a little bit of like a misdemeanor, but just not the perception, but just the content in themselves, which is sort of like a perception, and an idea. Perception is, it's got a weird undertone as well. So I mean, I kind of feel I have to clarify the perception standard of it, but it's not really a perception. It's more of the kind of self-belief, and just they're just really fucking happy. They're just happy to be themselves. And by being happy to know themselves, and that they know themselves, and that they know whatever they're doing is, lack of a better word, legit, because they've been doing it for so long, or they're just content, they have this aura of ego. Now, the interesting point is that when you bust that aura of ego, when they sit there and they sit down next to you or around them, and you feel this presence just imploding into you, and instead of backing away and being super scared of it, you turn around and be like, and what, motherfucker? Like, I won't take that. I don't believe it. What have you got? And then they turn around and be like, legit, I like you, my man. Like, let's continue on with the conversation. Now, when that point hits, I find you have a level of ego which is, it's world worthy in a sense. It can function. It can function in the world, and it can function for a positive aspect in your life and to other people's lives. Because at the end of the day is that if you feel bad about someone's ego and they're content in themselves, that's not on them, man. That's you kind of feeling shit about yourself. That's got nothing to do with them. That's your insecurities playing out. Now the real weird, and it's a little grey area, and it switches really fast, that if you call them out on it and they are themselves insecure about it, then all sorts of random shit will start happening. And when that happens, you either just walk away, let it go, because it's not coming from a true sense or a true of themselves. Because personally, I think that an ego is a good thing, in a sense, because an ego is something that you've built. It's been kind of tampered, it's been tested, it's been built, it's been kind of grinded out. Because the end of the day is that if you have an ego and it is actually very part of your character, you've had some massive fucking failures in your life. You've had some failures that you had to pick yourself up from, and then from that you've had to learn some lessons. And then I really think that if you learn some lessons from some things, and you learn them truly, the next time you do it, you're not going to make the same failure yet again. You're not going to do it. And then some people can call that ego. But is that ego? Or is that you just learning your lesson? I mean, that's true though. Because if you learn your lesson, you're like, I'm not fucking making that mistake twice. What happens then? That means that I am fully prepared for the consequences. I know what can happen from it. But I know I can succeed. Because I've already done this before. I've already seen the failure. I know what road not to go down. Now, if you want to start talking about failures about that, it's a very easy concept. It's summed up in one sentence. If you've failed 100 times and you pick yourself up 101 times, are you still a failure? Now, if you answer yes, then, well, I think you're in the wrong tribe. If you answer no, then I think you're in the legit, straight, best place that you need to be in. Because it's true. That's the end of the day. It is fucking legitly true. And once you learn those lessons, I think you have a massive self-understanding of what you're capable of. And I mean, everyone is capable of fucking greatness. It's only you that stops things. It's only, you are your own worst enemy. It's very simple. Just sit down and ask yourself, who is the biggest enemy in your work life, your social life, any sort of life that you kind of hold? Who is the biggest enemy? Now, whoever you say, if they're not yourself, it's the wrong answer, my man. Because yourself is the worst enemy that can actually happen. You are the key to everything. And that's why I think a healthy amount of ego. Yeah, it's a weird concept of ego being good. It's weird, and it's really intense. But an ego, you've got to hold an ego, because if you put up with that shit, no one else put up with that shit. You put up with that shit, and you know how to put up with it again. And that gives you strength. And that's, I had to get that off my mind. It was a little bit too intense, man. My man, I hope you listen to this because, dude, that was the best conversation I've had this year. That was the first conversation I've had this year. That was the best, my man. And that's me. And as always, if you can't be happy, well, actually, be happy. Because if you can't be happy, what fucking else?